South African Human Rights Commission had a press briefing. Following that press briefing, South African citizens are asking question: can we abolish South African Human Rights Commission? You know, every time any of these Chapter 9 institution comes out, South African Chapter 9 institution comes out, you need to just go straight to the comment section, you know. Oh my goodness. Yeah, just go straight there. You know, the question though, it's a very serious one that people are asking: can we abolish the South African Human Rights Commission? All right. The answer to this question is very simple to you all. No, you couldn't. But, you know, if you're tired of this South African Human Rights Commission and you think that they're not cultural appropriate, they're not relevant to South Africa, they're not speaking your language, they speak foreign, they act foreign, therefore you do not hear them, you're 100% correct and your concerns are valid. And this is because of the South African Constitution. Yes, the Constitution. The biggest evil is the South African Constitution. That is the biggest evil of all trouble. The troublemaker is that Constitution. Now, what we need to do is to amend a few sections that will allow us to move to the dualist system. Dualist system, similar to here in Australia, we move away from monist system. The dualist systems, what we need to do is to amend section 231, subsection 4 of the South African Constitution. It currently has a wording that's very problematic. International agreements shall have no force or effect domestically unless so enacted. This is what we need to change in current South African section 231 subsection 4. We need to also amend the section 39 subsection 1b. This section, it reads: when interpreting the Bill of Rights, a court, tribunal, or a forum must consider international law. We need to change that. We need to move to say, when interpreting the Bill of Rights, a court, tribunal, or forum may have regard to international law. Big difference to may have regard to must consider. But such law shall not be binding unless enacted by Parliament. All right, and we need to go and change again another section. The evil of this human rights, South African human rights, comes from this problem. Amend section 233. In this section, the current wording for this section say, when interpreting any legislation, every court must prefer any reasonable interpretation that is consistent with international law over any alternative interpretation that is inconsistent with international law. That's why they act globalist, they behave globalist, they're not relevant to the cultural experience of the South African people because of this section 233. So we need to change this wording of this section. It needs to read as the following: when interpreting legislation, courts may consider international law as a persuasive authority, but domestic law shall prevail unless the Parliament has expressly enacted the relevant international law. This will sort all our problems. Our Human Rights Commissioner will very much embodies our Ubuntu spirit, the South African values.
As South Africa if we want to win against apartheid system, we need to remove all the white judges from judiciary. So African judiciary way too white.
My country people, fellow South Africans, can you believe it? The audacity of the globalists, the audacity of the wicked system that continues to suppress and oppress the rights of the citizens of South Africa. And ask me what brings me here. The incoming acting police minister, Feroz Kachalia, uzenenye Haibo. So he is out now, he's giving statements. Of course, we all know that Mkhunu is now on a paid leave with all the, the benefits, all the perks, and he's out addressing the media, of course, exonerating himself from all the allegations, all the the statements that was released by our beloved Lieutenant Mukwanas, right? And now he's addressing lifetimes. And he's here to say that giving the police license to kill is not the answer to crime. Says who? So that simply means giving the criminals the right to kill is the solution to crime. What makes it? Can someone just make me understand? General Mkhwanazi came out and said that, listen, we are not going to play games with criminals. We want criminals to understand that South Africa is not a banana republic. South Africa is not a playground for criminals. And now he comes, first statement, giving the police license to kill is not the answer to crime. How many lives of innocent, law-abiding South Africans have we lost in the hands of criminals? So in a nutshell, the globalists are saying crime must be an order of the day in South Africa. They have just given criminals the full power to go and do as they please without thinking twice. So that is why we are sitting as South African, as a nation, with a crisis where all criminals from across the world are running to their safe haven, which is called South Africa. Do you understand the challenge we have, Mzansi? When I say to you guys, we are at war and there is no neutral ground. If you are not on our side, then you are the enemy and you are making matters worse. This man here, he's not on our side. He is making matters worse. He's the enemy. He's the enemy. Where does he come from where he does not understand the current state of affairs as far as a crime is concerned in South Africa? That is our number one problem. How do we have an incoming acting police minister saying such careless statements? That's so careless of him. Very careless. I cannot believe it. A country where no one is safe. A country where crime is the order of the day. You get robbed during broad daylight. No one is safe anywhere. Criminals are taking lives as they please. Our children are trafficked, are drugged, raped, mutilated, burned beyond recognition. And you come here and you say such statements. People are robbed, broad daylight, of their cars, of their belongings. Malls are robbed. Heist is the order of the day. And you come here, you come and say such things, and tomorrow they're going to say it's democracy. I told you guys that we don't want democracy, because democracy has brought us more pain. It has not brought us any good news, this democracy. Democracy has taken our loved ones sooner than they ought to have gone. So this kind of statements must not be taken lightly. You cannot come in and erase the work that General Mkhwana has already done as far as the safety of this nation is concerned. A man whose heart is for this country and for this nation. A man whose focus is to make sure that we as the citizens are protected. This is a very, very careless statement. And that is the plan of the system. That is why sometimes I say, you know, people need to understand that we are at war with the system. Because a lot of people will say we are at war with the system. The system that seeks to kill, to rob, and destroy this beautiful nation, South Africa. And guess what? We will not be silenced. We are not for sale. South Africans' lives are not for sale. And for your information, Minister, Acting Minister, General Mkhwana is us and we are him. And whatever he believes in, I think you can understand why the entire country is behind him. It's because he is speaking to us. He is speaking for us. Our pain is his pain. Our concern is his concern. The cries of our children are his cries. He heard us, unlike you and those that put you in power. The so-called constitution is doing nothing for us, done nothing for us. The so-called democracy has done nothing for us. Instead, you have put our life, you continue to put our lives at the highest danger and risk. And that is why whenever we are here, we say, cry the beloved country, South Africa. This is insane. And it can only be said in South Africa, where crime is an order of the day. No one sees anything wrong. It's because majority of the ministers, they are moving around with blue lights and their loved ones. They are protected 247. So it is a life of an ordinary South African like me and you that they don't care about. So don't you come here and utter such careless statements. And this I am saying as a concerned, patriotic, concerned South African citizen. I love you, Mzansi. Let's unite. We are on our own. I love you. And God bless and save South Africa. Mother of the nation. Queen Lebu Mkhize. Shalom, shalom. I love you, Mzansi. And God bless you all.
Every has different members of SAS. So the members you see here is public order. They are responsible to keep and maintain public order and controlling the crowd control. So my question is, as the chairperson for development planning in the city of Johannesburg, where is the law enforcement that should be enforcing the Constitution on citizens in terms of Immigration Act 13 of 2002? My first question would be, the shop was closed. It was then demarcated as a crime scene, correct?
Yes, correct. Yes, that's correct. Yes.
The owners of the shop is foreign nationals. Are they documented?
Guys, listen. Yeah, hello.
In terms of paperwork, are they documented with an asylum seeker? Because number one, an asylum seeker allows you to seek business opportunities, allows you to seek study opportunities, allows you to seek employment opportunities, right? Are you with me?
Yes, I'm listening.
The first question that SAP should have asked was, do you have a business visa? Now, a business visa allows you to trade in another country.
Yeah.
But you should have invested 5 million rand into South Africa.
Sure. Yeah.
So, they made this a crime scene, but the foreigners were not arrested.
Sure.
How? So
That's the questions we have.
Now I'm saying to you, our responsibility now is to go to the police station and seek the colonel on duty. The colonel on duty needs to respond to this matter because it's not their responsibility. Their responsibility is to maintain public order, and that's what they are for. So they won't be able be able to answer you in terms of crime scenes, in terms of why people were in and out of the crime scene, etc. Because their responsibility is to crowd control. That is what they're here for. To avoid looting, to avoid breaking in of the shop, etc. Who we need to have here is SABS, who is responsible for enforcing the law, the constitution, and the acts.
Now, how do we get them?
Let's go to SABS.
Did Melissa call them? Melissa?
The colonel just called me now. He puts me on the phone. Then he asked me, chairperson.
Let's give Melissa a chance, guys.
He asked me, who is controlling the scene here? I said the police. He said, so let the police do what they do. So I'm asking him, why are they contradicting this whole thing? They allow those foreigners in less than an hour ago to in and out like they want to. Then it wasn't deemed as a crime scene. Now that the community is saying, we are not at rest because we are not sure if there's anyone else in there. We want to be put to rest, go in with the two leaders and the police to ensure that there's no one else.
Yes.
Then we can
That's all we want. That's all we want.
He's saying to me, you can't tell the police what to do. So they are, and then he says to me, are you not a community leader? I said, yes, I am. He said, then control the community. So are they used to us fighting one another? He wants us to control the community by not letting the community be at peace, knowing that there's no one else in there. And even the SABS here, they're not here for this specific issue. They are crowd control. And he said SABS, Sophia Town is not trained to do this job. Who was here earlier when I addressed the entire community? The question is asked, if we go in, are we not interfering, right? Because this is a crime scene. So listen, I just want to make something clear. Officer, earlier on, the same owners of this shop was in and outing out of this very same shop that we are seeing as a crime scene. So I don't think it's making any difference if we go in. Because before you got here, they were going in, coming out continuously. And nobody stopped them from coming in and out. That was the foreigners from the shop. So now we are saying, if we are not allowed to go inside because we are interfering or we are tampering, that means they were given the right to do so, but we are not. Were they not interfering? Are we the only ones interfering? Because currently this community is willing and able to stand here until tomorrow morning, which we don't want that to happen. We are saying to you, work with us. You are the police officer. You can lead us in. You can go in with us, right? We don't need to touch anything. You will guide us in. We're not going to touch anything. We want to ensure that nobody else is hidden in there. Because just before you got here, this was a crime scene. There was tape around here. But the very same foreigners was allowed to go in and out as they please. Nobody stopped them. Is that not interference? If we are walking in with you, we're rightfully asking you to guide us in. Go with me and Pastor Kurt. We are not going in by ourselves, just so that we can give the community what they are asking for. Peace, to ensure that there's no one else hidden in there. That's all we're asking.
And then after that, we come out together. After that, we'll come out together. And we ask that you guys give us your word that no one else will go in. Like Melissa has said, if it's then that we are interfering, why is it that those who are in there, not even who asked to go in, who were given permission to go in?
Less than an hour ago.
Yeah. So then you come out, you give us your word that no one else will go in, nothing else will come out. And then we will then, as a people, speak for the community and say, now we get them tomorrow at SABS and follow the processes.
That's all we're asking.
That's all we're asking.
Because the community is not backing down. The community is saying there might be kids in there. We have missing people within our community that has not been found. So therefore I'm asking you.
If the cops can't see nothing, sometimes if you guys are not saying something as wrong as it sounds and as toxic as it sounds, then sometimes it does, you have to take the law into your own hands because we are
I hear you. But
How long are you guys going to wait until they respond?
Just give me a moment. I know. And I'm also getting to that point. But before we get to that,
Playing for time here.
before we get to that point,
You said you guys are suffering.
No, you can't beat them. You can't beat them.
Breaking the street and
You need to cooperate. You need to cooperate.
What I'm saying is, but the same people went.
listen up, everybody. Listen up.
If it doesn't get opened up in the next 5 minutes, in 5 minutes time, if the councillors cannot come in, then we force the place to get open up.
We are trying to work
Why must it that?
to ensure
Why
that
must we
everybody
give the place to open up?
He's saying
Why must we let it up? You can shoot but open it and open it up. We open up like a release.
Listen, we are trying to do things the right way.
But we must
Okay, guys, wait, let's hear what the man says.
Okay, can you just move over there? Listen, they are making calls to identify whether or not they're going to allow us in. So let's give them time until we tell you guys they are not giving us a response. Then we can see what our response will be. Until
How much time? How much time?
we're giving them
That's because you guys need to assert and go in with it.
How much time?
Listen, guys, listen up.
Listen here. Guys,
Everything was almost done.
wait, we're waiting for the call. We're waiting for a call.
Listen. Can we just give them some space? Move back. Listen, if we are going to turn up the volume now without knowing what the end result is of that conversation, we might go back and forth. Let's come to a conclusion there. When I come back here and I say to you guys, hulle wil nie vir ons hoor nie. Dan kyk ons wat maak ons.
Dankie.
But for now, we're waiting because we're not going to incite violence. We're first going to resolve it the best way we know how.
Sure.
Then we conclude after.
But at a certain time, if there's no resolution, then we're going to take matters in our own hands.